Welcome to Mattys Mental Health Podcast, aiming to spread awareness on mental health by sharing the real-life stories of those who've experienced it firsthand. Hello, Kennedy Meisner. How are you?
It's Noel now.
Oh.
Legally.
Really? You changed your name to Noel?
Yeah, I'm married.
Oh, yeah. Right. Oh. Well, isn't your name still Kennedy Meisner on Facebook?
No.
Oh.
Wrong Facebook account.
Well, fuck. Okay. When I knew you in grade 7, your name was Kennedy Meisner.
Yes.
So, Kennedy Noel, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thanks for coming here and doing this.
You're welcome. I'm enjoying myself already.
Your lovely husband,
Yeah.
Troy, is here.
Sitting right beside me.
He's very handsome.
Yeah, he is.
Everyone back in the day used to say that we look alike. So,
I mean,
um,
if you had a
we're
little
both
bit more
pretty
of a
handsome. Is that what we're saying?
We were just talking in the car about how long it takes to grow a beard. I mean, does it take you long to grow a beard?
I can't grow a beard. So
You
I
can't?
just shave every day.
I can't grow a beard either.
Well, I think if someday if we keep trying, we'll both be able to grow a beard.
One day.
I think the key is to keep shaving every day, and then it gets.
That's what I heard. If you keep shaving like consistently,
Yeah.
it just gets thicker.
Yeah.
Which is like doesn't make sense for girls that shave their legs. Like why are we doing that?
Societal standards, I guess.
I think that you're right.
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, that would suck, shaving your legs every day.
I'm telling you, it sucks. I'm telling you that it does. It definitely sucks.
Do you have to do it every day?
I mean, like, you're supposed to, but I do it like once a month or something when I have time.
I think some people have different genes where they don't have to do it every day or very often.
Yes, or like blonde hair or something, and you don't have to you don't see it as often or as. I guess it doesn't stand out as much as dark hair.
Imagine if it was the opposite. Societal standards, guys had to shave their legs and girls didn't.
Well, sometimes I see men that do shave their legs and it doesn't, it looks normal to me. It looks like it's supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
Especially men who swim.
Yeah.
Apparently it's very you go a lot faster with shaved legs.
Yeah. It's aerodynamic. Is that the word in the water?
I don't know, actually.
Water dynamic.
Water dynamics.
But, I just want to say thank you for coming here.
No problem.
And tell the world your story.
Well, I guess I just came here to talk about my anxiety, what started it, I guess. I guess when I was 18, I just had a episode there where I was in the hospital and I dropped down to 94, 95 pounds. And I just couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I don't know. It just was the worst time in my life. I guess I've gotten better since then. Because medication and stuff like that. But that was probably the worst time in my life was when I was 18. Just feelings. Stuff.
Feelings.
Yeah. Those darn feelings.
So you say anxiety was the
biggest
one for you?
It still is, because it feels like it's every day, right? Feels like someone's sitting on my chest. Feels like I can't enjoy things, but back then it was a lot worse because I couldn't control it, or I didn't have breathing techniques or marijuana.
Right.
Wasn't so frequently into that where I used it as a medication. It was more so just on the weekends or
recreational
recreational, yeah. But it turned into I don't know, when someone suggests I use it for anxiety, I started and it works perfectly for me, at least. I feel like if I had it back when I was 18 and I used it the way I use it now and was responsible about it the way that I use it right now, I feel like I wouldn't have, I don't know, worried about so many things.
Right.
Things that don't deserve to even be worried about, I worry about. And I feel like if I had it back then, I wouldn't have worried about it as much, or I don't know. I feel like I should have talked about it more. I kind of never talked about the hospital episode too much. So, yeah, it was a big thing. The family was quite worried. Troy was quite worried. But we got out of it and we got through it. And I came back stronger. I came out of there on some antidepressants. It worked for a bit, but I find like it helped with the anxiety, but it made like, I don't know, just no sleeping side effects, like sweating. I don't know, like...
You couldn't sleep? That was a side effect?
That was the side effect. Like, as much as I wasn't sleeping, like, before, like, it just kind of made me lay awake and not feel anxiety about things, but it just felt like my eyes were, like, glued, like, open. Like, I couldn't sleep as much as I wanted to. As much as I was tired, I couldn't fall asleep. So, like, here I am, 18, like, sometimes my dad or, like, my mom or even Troy would have to, like, lay with me to fall asleep, and, like, I'm 18, right? Like, I shouldn't need that. But I needed it when I was 18. But... soon after I got out of the hospital, I got pregnant with Cohen, and that changed my life. So, for the better, like, ever since I got pregnant, like, I haven't felt as low as I did before I was pregnant, if that makes sense. Like, it's, when I get to a low, I always remind myself that I have 2 kids now, but, like, back then I had Cohen, I always would kind of lean on him for support, I guess. I don't know. Like...
Right.
Like, if I was having a bad day and Troy was at work, I'd be like, okay, I have Co. Co's here. Co's healthy. He's happy. He needs to see me happy. And that was the main thing for me, is, like, he can't see me unhappy. You know what I mean? So, I think that made me a lot stronger, was being happy for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it got me through a lot of hard times. Like, if I didn't have him, I feel like I would have had a lot more, mental breakdowns. Like, I feel like I would have landed in the hospital a lot more if I didn't have Co. Because, like, sometimes I was afraid to be like, yo, like, I'm low. You know what I mean? So, holding it in, I'm not saying holding it in is good, but I'm saying that, I guess.
You had having a dependent on you was kind of
Yeah, like, having to know, like, okay, I don't got a choice to get up in the morning. I'm getting up whether I have to get up or not. You know what I mean? Like, Cohen's up at 5 a.m. whether I'm up at 5 a.m. or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, getting into his routine, working in his meals, like, his playtime, his nap time, it didn't really give me much of a time to feel, like, really, really depressed.
So it kept you really busy.
It kept me really insanely busy.
Yeah.
And that was for, like, the first 6 months. But then after the first 6 months went by, I mean, things got a little bit easier in a sense. Like, he was sleeping a lot better. I felt more comfortable him going places with people, so I had more alone time. And that's when it kept creeping up on me. So when I had that alone time. So, yeah, alone time. I should have, like, what I'm trying to say, I guess, is I should have reached out to people during that alone time. I had Facebook, I had Instagram, I had a phone, I had family, and I just didn't reach out when I should have. And when I did reach out, like, I had support, like, way more support than I thought I did. And it made me realize I should have reached out, like, firsthand. You know what I mean? So.
Should have reached out much sooner?
Yeah. Should have reached out much sooner, because I'm like, I was suffering. And I was making, like, not everyone suffer around me, but I think everyone could have been more, like, happy. If I was happy, like, if I wasn't so down or having down days or just didn't want to go anywhere or do anything, like, I felt like everyone could have had more fun.
Right. So what was that experience like for you, kind of coming out with it or telling your family that you were low?
I don't know, like, I guess my mom probably knew. When I told my dad, he was, like, super surprised. He was like, well, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, it's super, super hard to talk about. And I didn't want anyone to, like, take my kids. As stupid as that sounds, like, you just feel like when you tell someone you're not, like, yourself, like, sorry. When you tell someone you're not yourself, like, you don't want them to take your kids.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm sure that's a
sensitive topic.
Yeah, I know, yeah. That'd be the first thing that your
mind just always shoots to that. You're like,
yeah.
You don't want anyone to think that you're not capable. You know?
Exactly, yeah.
So, definitely hard to go through.
I imagine with like anxiety too that your mind would kind of race with like the bad situations.
Like, your mind goes anywhere and everywhere. Like my mind still goes anywhere and everywhere. The beach, the park, like all the things that you like people take their kids out to, like for their kids to enjoy things. Like I'm in the back, like don't touch that, someone sneezed on that, like don't do that. And I feel like I'm like making them have anxiety about certain things. Like I'm making them feel like, oh, mommy said like that'll be like, you know what I mean? Like just so like anxious over everything. And I feel like I'm pouring that on to them sometimes. So it's really hard to tuck it in your back pocket, but as a mom, like you have to.
Yeah.
As much as you don't want to let them go up the big slide and go down it, you have to.
Yeah.
And it helps you get over it, right? Because the first couple of times they're doing it, you're like, oh my God, no. And then like you see how happy it makes them and you're like, okay, I'm all right. I thought I wasn't going to be all right, but I'm all right now.
Yeah.
Like it makes you feel like I don't know how to explain it. It's just both of my kids helped me conquer things I didn't think that I could do before.
Yeah.
So like, and seeing them happy makes me happy. Them looking forward to things like when Troy comes home from work or their favorite ice cream or, you know, like those kind of things, like they make you super happy. And it kind of like, I don't know, it doesn't like make it go away. It just, you kind of like, if I wake up and I'm having a bad day, like I'm going to do something with my kids. Like I'm going to do something fun. Like we're going to go outside. We're going to go on the swings, like stuff like that. We're just not going to sit and have a movie day. Because like a movie day is for when like, I don't know, your mind's just so busy you want it to stop, I guess. But for me, like, I want to get out and do things so my mind's not going to where I don't want it to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I feel like having kids for me really helps that because you don't have a lot of time to like sit and think like all those negative thoughts. And if I did ever think those negative thoughts, like I have told people before, like, and when I have told people, they've always been right there and they never judged me as much as like I didn't want to tell them I thought they would judge me, but like they've always been there to offer support. They've never threatened to take my kids away like I thought they would. They were just basically my shoulder to cry on. Like if I ever needed anything, they said like, if you ever need anything, I'll be right there. Like I'll come out and we'll talk. And that's sometimes all I need is like
someone to talk to.
Someone to talk to, like even like not about anxiety or depression, but like just adult things.
Yeah.
Not that are like kid things. Not about Paw Patrol or like kid TVs and games and stuff like that. Sometimes I just need like friends and all adult interaction to feel like a human.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you lock yourself up, like I did, like when I had kids, like I was kind of didn't reach out, didn't have a lot of mom friends, and didn't have really any friends at all. And when I reached out, like a lot of moms are the same as me, and I'm the same as a lot of moms. And I have like a support system now. Like if I'm not feeling well or if I have a question about my child, I have like a safety net that I can fall back on and be like, have you ever had this happen to your kid? Or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like it kind of eases your anxiety. You don't have to run into the emergency room every time you feel like your child has like a cough or a runny nose. Like I'd be the one running to emergency every time. But after I developed like a group of mom friends around me, like I find myself leaning on them for support rather than running to the doctor, because they always are there to be like, it's okay, like he's supposed to be doing that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's good. I'm just trying to say, like, having support, like, as scared as you are, like, reaching out definitely helps.
No worries. Hi. Took a short break there.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I think that's great that you found this community and support with other moms, and you kind of mentioned that you were like felt isolated for the first little while.
Definitely.
When you first became a mom.
I definitely felt isolated because I felt like, I don't know, I felt like every problem that my kid had, like everyone was judging it. Like I don't know, like just felt like I was scared to talk about, I don't know, what I should feed him. What did you feed him at this age? Everything I just felt like I'd be instantly judged on.
Yeah.
As where, like, Sophie, I had more of a community of moms around me. So I felt like parenting the second time around was, like, a lot easier. Less stressful in the head. Less anxiety about it. I mean, I never second-guessed myself this time around. I don't think I've yet to second-guess myself this time around, actually. Like, I'm pretty much feel pretty confident in all the decisions that I make. And I used to never feel that. I used to have to like get mom, Troy, like anyone, friends, like about the stupidest things I'd have to ask, right?
Yeah.
Their opinion on like, is this okay? And you're like, you're the mom. Why are you asking me that? And I'm like, I've never done this before. But now with Sophie, like I feel a lot more content. I feel I have a bigger community of moms that are there. And especially like, I don't know, for advice, like just it's good. Like I wish there was, I don't know. I just wish more people would make that jump and talk to people, make the first jump and be like, hey, can we be friends? Because I'm sure like no one's going to come up and be like, no. Like, you know what I mean? I've never had that happen. Like the times that I've like jumped him and like, hey, I'm feeling this way. Or like, hey, I noticed that like you have some of the same interests as me. Like, do you want to be mom friends? I've done that like twice already. And like both the times, like I'm actually pretty good friends with both of them still.
Yeah.
Like it feels like, I don't know. I one day I got a little bit too cocky, probably smoking too much weed, and messaged them and was like, yo, like I seen you shared some shit on Facebook and it's funny. And I share the same shit on Facebook. Can we be friends? And we've been friends ever since. So I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like you just got to make that like
jump.
Find someone or find something that you're both commonly interested in. And you'd find out so much more about the other person. That both people that I reached out to, I thought they were like anti-weed, anti-everything, like anti-everything basically that I do. And they supported 110%. So it feels good to have like that support, right? Because you don't got to hide the fact that you use it as a medication for your anxiety, right? You don't have to be like, oh, like I take anxiety meds, like that's it, that's all I do. Like, no, I straight up with people, because when you walk into my house or just being around me, you know that I smoke, right? So I want to make it like well known before, like as soon as I'm friends with someone, that's the first thing I kind of let them know, is that I frequently smoke and it's probably not going to change. So if you can't handle that, you know, like I don't know if we could be friends, because it kind of like, it's basically my life. Like it helps my anxiety, it helps my depression, like it helps everything for me. I don't know if it does for everyone. I can't say it does that for everyone. But for me, out of like probably 6 or 7 antidepressants that I've been on, it's the one thing that's consistently helped me through everything. It doesn't give me negative effects. I know that's not the same for everybody. But for the most part, it's super positive for me. And I wish people wasn't so like weirded out about it. There are some people that are super weirded out about it.
Yeah.
And I've come across some people that are super weirded out about it. And it sucks because like those people, when I've asked them before, like, have you even tried it? And they've said no. So it's like, you know, it sucks that like you're already getting judged enough for having anxiety sometimes. Like it's a huge, like some people judge you, right? You don't want to talk about it. That's the whole thing. And you already feel so bad about having it in society that you don't want to feel bad for like, you know what I mean? You don't want to feel bad for smoking or using antidepressants. I feel like people are going to judge you either way. Like you use antidepressants, then there's negative effects. And then there's marijuana and there's negative effects. I feel like everyone is judging any way you take it, you know?
So that's my dumb brother. You just walked in.
Hi.
Classic.
Dumb brother. That's great.
No, that's great. That's great that it helps, and that you found it and stuff. And yeah, I think like awareness about it is changing. Like, I think it was different with like the older generations. Like even now that it's legal, and then now that it's been like medically prescribed for a while now too. I think the perspective on it is changing. And I think that's great that it helps you. Like, and it's funny that you say that like, you know, you would kind of say that you're just taking antidepressants or anti-anxieties. It's kind of a way to like avoid saying that you use weed for the same things.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the side effects of those things can be pretty bad. So I don't know. It's just funny. It's like I think it's just like a lack of education. But do you want to talk about like antidepressants and your experience with those, or
Yeah, like when I was on the first time I was ever on antidepressants, I don't know. It made me feel anxiety, like more anxious. My heart rate it felt like it was way worse for the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I wanted to give up on them. My mom just told me to keep taking them. So after like 3 weeks or 4 weeks of being on them, they were helping. But I found that every time I was on one of them, there was always an effect, like a negative side effect that would like, I don't know, wasn't like, it would help my anxiety, but then I'd have like no sleep.
right?
So then like the heightened anxiety would be like, why aren't I sleeping? Or like, I don't know, like food aversions.
What does that mean?
Like I just not want to eat. There was one that I was on and I would throw up like probably 3 or 4 times a day because I couldn't eat. Like it just made me feel like
Sick to your stomach?
sick to my stomach. Like very, I don't know, just a weird, it's like burning. It was very like a weird, it was a weird effect. And anyway, I didn't take it for that long, that one. I've been on 6 or 7 types of my whole life. And I found that the last one I was on, I think it was like called Celexa or something like that. And I was on that one for 8 months. And that one was the one that kind of stuck with me the most. It helped a lot, except for the night sweating. Big, huge negative side effect for me because, again, I don't sleep much because I have ADHD as well. So that gets in the way. And again, with the night sweats, like it just made it 10 times worse because I'd wake up freezing cold in the middle of the night. One of my kids would be up in the middle of the night and I'd have to get up drenched in my own sweat while they were crying, trying to take care of them while like I'm like freezing cold, right? And you don't have a choice because like they're freaking out in the middle of the night. So I felt like after like 7 or 8 months of dealing with that, I worked out something with the doctor that I was seeing that I was going to slowly come down off of it because I was on like 112 milligrams a day. So that was 3 capsules. So I think every week and a half, like every 9 days, I would take 1 capsule less. So coming down off those was really hard. Like coming down off that medication felt like coming down off of a hard drug for me. It triggered like I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I was shaking. Just like really bad side effects. I felt like trapped. I felt like I couldn't get away from it. I felt like it was supposed to help when it wasn't helping.
Yeah.
And I felt like when the doctor told me to start coming down off of it, I thought that I was like, this is it. Like I'm going to feel better. But like the days coming off of that medication was like the worst days,
Right, yeah.
And I felt like for me, like every anxiety med that I tried, it just did not work. I don't know if it's like the mindset that I have. I don't know if my body just doesn't agree with them. I'm not sure. But out of everything I've taken personally for me, no anxiety meds have helped me the way that I'm feeling right now, if that makes sense. Like I'm always feeling like a side effect. Like although my anxiety would be under control, I'd be feeling like depression. Or I'd be sweating. Or I couldn't eat, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it was always like something else. It wasn't helping. It just was not helping the way that I wanted it to help. It was making me feel worse, basically.
Right. There was a negative side effect somewhere.
Yes, there was a negative effect somewhere with either one. And I know that I know with medication it can't be perfect, but like with my ADHD and with my anxiety, like I can't let little things like that go. It's easier, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
little things like that for people are like, okay, they'll get over it. It's just a bump. Me, it's like a big deal. So I couldn't get over it. So like when I made the decision to come off the anxiety meds, the doctor was also on board with me smoking. So we worked out a plan, like basically like worked out the pros and cons. Like why does it make you feel this way? Like what do you feel when you take it? How much do you take? Like very in depth. Like it wasn't just something that I just told my doctor like, yeah, I just smoke all the time and that's just the way it is, right? It was more so like we worked out like how much do you smoke a day? Like why do you smoke? Do you smoke indica or do you smoke sativa? Like that kind of stuff. And when we worked out something like that, I just felt like it worked out better for me. For everything else that I've taken, it's worked.
Did you ever think about going down the prescription route? Did you ever talk to?
I actually just I actually just filled out something online. I actually am not quite sure what it is 110%, but like someone sent me the link and it just said to get like your medical card. So I don't know if it's true or not, but I filled it out.
Yeah.
Right now I can't get into a doctor for a while, but getting your license for weed is actually harder than you think it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than, like, I think you have to go across. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
But
it could be good, like, I don't know, you might be able to get it covered through some kind of insurance or something like that, or it might be cheaper.
Yeah, it might be cheaper if you have your license.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it that route. I definitely would like to have my license. I don't even know if you need it. Like, do you technically need it now that it's legal?
Oh, you definitely don't need to buy it, but I guess the only benefit would be getting it through insurance, if you have insurance, or I don't really know. But
that'd be cool. We should look into that for insurance purposes.
yeah, insurance purposes. So, did you ever try like edible, like tinctures?
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yeah. We got into the edibles a couple times. I find that they help me because I don't find myself like having to smoke as often. It lasts longer for me. And I mean, I don't really get high or stoned anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I smoke to feel normal. If I don't smoke, I feel anxious. So like I feel like if people are like, the edibles are super, super strong. So I feel like when people are taking them, like, it's just this out of body experience. I've had it a couple times, but now when I take an edible, it's just like mellow for me.
Right.
I freaked out a couple times. Greened out a couple times. Once in Subway. It was an experience. Wasn't it, Troy?
So for you at this point, these effects are just to calm you down. Like, that's how you feel.
Like, yeah, like, it's to calm me down. Like, if I'm having I don't know how to explain it. Like, making supper in my house is super anxious time for me because my kids are hungry. They're screaming. They're playing. It's loud. Troy's not home because he's at work. And I'm trying to get supper ready for all of us because we're all hungry. Troy's going to be a monster when he walks in the door from work. So, like, I'm trying to get supper ready while playing with the kids. So I feel like right then and there, like, if I didn't have that to step away, mind you, step away, like, go a distance and, you know, do that privately, I feel like I wouldn't get through supper. I feel like it'd be like, it would take me 2 hours to do supper rather than like a half hour because I'd be like breakdown after like, with my ADHD especially, I can't do a lot of things at once. So like, especially on a day like, I don't know, a really busy day, I find it really hard because multitasking is the worst. And I can't do that. Yeah. So at supper time, if I can sneak away and I can, you know, privately go somewhere and do that, it helps. Like, it helps, like, not take everything such a big deal. Like, if the kids are running around the house and they're making a huge noise and it's repetitive running, repetitive noises stress me out. It's like a big factor of ADHD. So like, if I'm not in a good state of mind, like, it just bothers me. But like, if I'm in a good state of mind, like, that doesn't bother me. I can let it slip. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't have to let it bother me. And I think everyone around me gets that. Everyone around me that sees me every day, like, knows. Like, hey, you need to chill. You need to go. And you need to go, like, medicate. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So kind of, like, relaxes you, centers you, gives you a better perspective. Yes, it doesn't make me all, like, ha, 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 like, woo, like, woo. Like, no, it doesn't make me. I wish it did sometimes. But it doesn't. It's pretty, like, a regular thing. Like, I take a regular size amount at certain times during the day, and I try to even it out so that I'm never feeling as crappy as sometimes I would. But there's still days that I feel really down. Like, there's still days where no amount of smoking anything or taking anything helps, because I've tried Ativan before. Like, it's been something that I've taken because in certain moments where you're so worked up, I feel like it's been able to bring me down. But even with that, and even with anything, like, there's definitely bad days that I have. And I'm happy that I have support systems to lean around with that, you know what I mean? If I didn't have someone I could call, or someone that'd be so willing to take the kids, or a husband that comes home, like, he just drops everything and plays, right? Like, he's not like, I don't know, if I didn't have Troy, I couldn't do it. Definitely. So I have a big appreciation for Troy and all that he does, because he works outside the home, and he comes home and plays with the kids, and if there's a big mess, he'll clean up the mess, and he'll let me go rest for a little bit, because, like, he knows mentally he can handle it better than I can. Like, he'll walk into a big mess, and he's okay. He's like, I'll clean this later. I'm fine. Like, it's just a mess. Me, I'm just like, oh, my God, I'm never going to clean this up. Like, I'll start hyperventilating. He's like, go lay down. Like, go chill for a bit. I'll clean. And I'm like, dude, if I didn't have you, I don't know what I'd do. He knows it, too. Look at him. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, you mentioned, like, breathing techniques earlier.
Yeah.
Is there that, and is there anything else, I guess, that you do on a daily basis that kind of helps you?
I get up like 15, if I can. I get up like 15 or even sometimes a half hour before the kids, and I let the dog out. I feed the animals. I eat myself. I lay in bed and I scroll through Facebook, because it gives me that, like, I don't know, like that alone time without like the rush of everything, because like in the daytime, like, the kids don't stop. They're hungry, they want snacks, they want to go outside, like, one has to nap, and then you got to keep the other one quiet because one has to nap, and it's just like super busy, so you never get that like time without something or someone needing something. So basically I get up at like 6:15 or 6:30 in the morning, and Miss Sophie, she opens her eyes bright and early at 7 a.m. every morning, ready to go. So from 7 a.m. in the morning till 8:30 at night, she's on the go, and she never stops. So I find that even for me to step out as a breathing technique, step out with like a cup of water or a bottle of water and drink, because like when I'm drinking, I'm breathing. And I learned that from my mom. When I can't breathe, I just start drinking water, because like you can't drink water and not breathe. So, I mean, that's the only thing that gets me through it. Like, the only thing that forces me to be able to like breathe through it. And it's worked for me. Another thing is just surrounding myself with my kids, because like when I'm around my kids, I'm the best person. So when I'm around my kids, like, I don't really let anything bother me. Like, I just go, read them a book, or try to like take all the attention that I have and all like the negative things in my body and just focus on the kids. Try to like forget about it. So when I'm bringing myself down to like a point where I'm not freaking out or I'm not in a panic attack anymore, I can realistically think about why I'm feeling that way. I hate going to places where I'm like, if I let my anxiety get the best of me, like, I just feel like I'm a burden to everyone. That's what my anxiety does to me. That's the one thing it's always did to me. Like, that's the one thing that, like, I feel like I can't ask for things, or I feel like I'm a burden, right? So, like, in an anxious moment, I feel like I could never ask for help. So I feel like I'd have to suffer. But since I've been able to, like, realize that, like, I'm anxious, I need to step out, I know now that I can ask for help. Do you know what I mean? I ask for help before it gets to, like, a worse point. And I've learned to ask for help before it gets to, like, a certain down point, to the point where, like, a down day turns into, like, a down month. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
If I let myself get to a certain point. Like, back in October, like, I was working and I was fine, and I was balancing the whole, like, work and mom and, like, you know what I mean? But then, like, something triggered it. A certain situation triggered it. And, like, I don't know. I had to not work. I haven't been able to go back. Like, it just triggered it, and I got to a low point. And I think I lost, like, 45 pounds.
Wow.
Or 40 pounds since October. I just, like, it drained. Like, it just, like, when I get stressed, like, the weight just, like, literally, like, falls off. So, like, every time in my life, like, back when I was 18, when I went down to, like, 94 or, like, 95 pounds, like, every situation I think back to, like, it just, like, every depressive episode, or, like, it's always brought me to a very, like, low weight, a low point, a low mindset, like, you don't think you're worth anything, and I just, like, I try so hard not to reach that point, but, like, sometimes you can't stop it. And I feel like recently, like, I've been in I've been feeling like that, like it's trying to pull me down. So like, I don't know, like I called my dad and I said, hey, you should be around more. And he's like, why? And I'm like, I'm feeling anxious. He's like, yeah, I'll be over in 20 minutes. And now he's just been over as much as he can, or like we do things as a family as much as we can, because like you're trying to like pull yourself as much as you can out of that down point.
Right.
And you're just trying to do those happy things to bring yourself out. And I feel like I have to force myself to do that, because if I don't, I'm going to reach a down point. It's going to get to a point where like you got to work so hard to bring yourself back up. And for me, it took like 5 months to get to like a happy point after a down point.
Right.
And for me, that's like half a year. I almost wasted, like I basically wasted half a year of my life feeling like in a down point. And I hate that I waste that much time, because like in a down point, you feel every second that passes by in a daytime. For me, at least, I feel every second of every day that passes, and it's super slow and I can't enjoy things. So bringing yourself and staying at that point is super important. And I feel like for me, like surrounding myself with family, friends, making more friends, and like making myself more available to people to talk to definitely brings me out of that point. It makes me stay out of that point, because I feel like I'm helping people, and like the wisdom that I've learned from Dad, from Grammy, from Troy, from like you, from everyone, like listening to your podcast, like I feel like I learn things about people, and it just helps like learn their situation. You know what I mean? Like it brings out a lot of people know a lot of things, and you got to listen to them. You know what I mean? Like have a conversation with someone that you don't think you'll get along with, or you don't agree on a certain topic with someone. Sit there and listen to them. Why do they are so firm on that topic? And maybe you'll change your mind. I've changed my mind like 500 times about certain topics, because people have like taught me things about those topics.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like you can't have an opinion on something that like you know nothing about. So I feel like you got to like learn about it. And that's something that I've learned about myself, is like stop judging people. That's a big thing for me, is like I'll admit it. Like I look at someone, I judge them instantly. Like that's who I am. Like I admit it. But like now I'll be like, okay, so why am I doing that? What am I judging them about? What can I learn about that? And I feel like I've made a lot more friends doing that. Like taking the time to learn about something, or like make yourself like feel interested in what someone else is interested in. Like don't make them feel stupid. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You see them over excited about something, like be excited with them. That's what I love about my dad, is like he's the same as me. So like I get excited about stupid things, and he'll be like, yes, like me too, I'm so excited. And it's just like I thrive off that. I thrive off people's energy. So if you have good energy, like I have good energy too. So like that's what I feel like. Don't have negative energy coming from you. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Like I'm trying to like, I don't know, like if you feel like negative all the time, your negative is going to come out. But if you feel positive, like there's nothing, like I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Just try to be as positive as you can. Like try to find the positive in people, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
As much as like it sucks sometimes and you want to judge somebody, like there's a lot of things about people that you don't know because they don't feel comfortable enough to let you know yet.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get comfortable enough with you, they'll let you know, and you'll think they're a lot cooler of a person. It's just like, sorry, when you make friends, like you don't know everything about that person. You sit there, you talk to them, you know them for like a couple of weeks, and you're like, frig, this person's cool as crap. Like, why didn't I hang out with them before? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wish people did that with everybody, so people weren't stuck in these down states like they are today. A lot of friends and family, like, I don't know. I just wish people didn't feel so down all the time. It sucks. And you see it and you wish you could change it, but like you yourself know, like technically no matter what someone says to you, like you're having a bad day, like I don't know, my dad, like it'll be better tomorrow. Like just think like it'll be better. Like as much as they say that, like you don't instantly feel better as soon as they say that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta like think positive, and it sucks to try to take your mind from the negative to positive, but it's also really important to like find that one positive thing that you have. For me, it's my kids. So like for me, it's like I surround myself with my kids, but like for other people, like they don't have kids, they have animals. So like a cat or a dog or friends or family, like surround yourself with those people in those times so you're not so alone.
Yeah, I think that's big. Isolation is terrible.
Yes, and I do it myself. Like I isolate myself, like when I feel emotional, like instead of breaking down in front of Troy like I should, like I just go to the bathroom and, you know, I deal with it, right? But technically, like, I know I should be like, let people see the feelings, because if you're hiding them, how are people supposed to know that you're feeling them? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you gotta let it out there.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's really good advice. Yeah, you can learn something from everyone, I think.
Yep.
And like just being social helps your mental health so much. Like we're social beings, and we're kind of getting away from that with social media and stuff. And
Yep.
being social, being connected, and having like community. It's like super important, I think, for humans, and it's something that we kind of seem to lose, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, like I agree 110%. If you don't surround yourself with people, like for instance, like in high school, junior high school, I did not surround myself with anybody. Like I went home, I slept, I did my own thing. Very crap. Like I didn't even really think I knew I was depressed at that point. But it was just basically like a cycle for me. Like I didn't want to go out and I didn't want to make new friends. But now that I like know that it makes me feel better doing that,
Yeah.
I look back and I realize that like I probably wouldn't have felt that way if I would have made the push to go and like do stuff with other people or get to know other people. I felt like if I could do it all over again, I would. I really regret, you know, not being more social. But like, again, now I am, I guess, and that's making up for the time that I wasn't. But it just sucks that I stayed so long feeling that way, you know? Like it took away like 6 years of my life, basically. Just not feeling social, not feeling like I have friends. I don't know, it just sucked, and I just hope, even now, like I hope people aren't feeling like that. I hope people reach out to anyone and everyone, because like people care. Like no one that you reach out to, at least I hope no one that you reach out to is going to ignore you.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that they answer you, like I just hope that they answer you with positively, I don't even know how to pronounce that word, you know what I mean, back, because getting negative remarks, I just don't know why people are so negative, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why people are like so negative towards people. It sucks, but like I feel like we're growing now. I feel like it's getting better. And I want people to know that like reaching out is definitely better than isolating yourself, because I've been there. And if I could have reached out earlier, I would have, because everyone that I thought that didn't care cares. And even if they don't understand it, they try to understand it, because like they care enough about me where like they want to know why I'm unhappy or if I'm feeling that way during the day, or you know what I mean? They like want you to not feel that way, because it makes them feel like they're not making you happy. Do you know what I mean? Like my dad says to me all the time, like he doesn't like when I'm feeling a certain way. He knows, because he battles mental illness too, so like my dad knows most of the feelings of what I'm feeling, but he just hates that. He's like, you know, I just hate how you deal with that every day. And then I'm like, I hate how you deal with it every day. You know what I mean? Like on a level, we understand each other. But before I had kids, I didn't even know my dad battled mental illness. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like since I've had kids, like it brought me and my dad closer together, because he could see the spiral that I was going down. And he's someone that I can talk to. Like I can call and be like, I'm having a really bad day. I don't know why I'm feeling down, but I'm having a bad day. And he's like, you know what? I'm having a bad day too. So like if he's having a bad day, he'll come out and make an effort, you know, like for us all to go for a walk or to hang out with the kids, you know, like to make a positive thing out of a crappy day. Because me and him both know that isolation's not the answer. It just makes it worse. It makes your mind run to places that it shouldn't run. And my mind has been there before. Like I've been suicidal a couple times, like not like to the point where like it was like an issue that I had to like go to Unit 9 or something like that, because I like followed through, but just like sometimes feeling like I'm a burden to people. So sometimes I feel like, oh, like if I wasn't here, like it'd be a lot easier for people not to worry about me so much. But that's not how it is. Like it's not how it is. People are worrying about you because they care about you. They're going to keep worrying about you because they love you. And if they can't worry about you if you're isolating yourself. And I want to make it like super, like don't isolate yourself. Like tell somebody that you're feeling the way that you're feeling and they will help you. And if they don't help you, like message me and I'll help you. Like message someone that, you know, like you feel comfortable reaching out to, that you know that have always helped you. Like don't feel like alone, basically. Just putting.
That's awesome. Thank you for saying all that. I think ultimately too, when you like open up to someone, it makes that relationship stronger, and you really get to know them too.
Definitely.
When you're honest.
Yeah, when you're lying and you're putting on this, like, I wouldn't say lying because I don't want to, like, I know depression and anxiety is hard to deal with alone. Like, I know it's hard. But, like, keeping it away from people that you love, like, they don't know what you're going through. Like, how are they supposed to help?
Yeah.
And I used to get so mad thinking, like, oh, they don't get it. They just don't get it. But, like, help them get it. You know what I mean? Like, help them understand that, like, some days are better than others. When I'm in a depressive episode, I let my dad or Troy or anyone else around me know, like, certain things that make me happy. They already know what makes me happy because, like, they're around me a lot, you know? So, like, if I'm having a depressive day, we go do family things because that makes me happy. And, like, I want people to, like, know, like, if you're having, like, just reach out. I can't say that enough, like, seriously. It's super important that you aren't stuck feeling isolated. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Kennedy.
You're welcome.
You shared some very wise advice.
I learn from the best. I listen to your podcast all the time.
Thanks so much. And it's good to see you, Troy.
Yeah.
Troy Noel. Kennedy Noel. Thanks so much for coming, guys.
No problem.